you know?
Oh, it's bright up here. Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that I am thankful for those two people sitting right there, Nick and Vanessa. They were in my insanity with me. Just absolutely awesome to see that God could put them sitting in church with me on a Tuesday night. Would have never thought. Would have never thought. 1 Corinthians 10:13. When Nick tried to steal from me. No temptation has overtaken you, such as common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make a way of escape, so that you may be able to bear it. Oh, gosh. You know, I was really full of myself back even when I was just a pothead before I ever became a tweaker. Okay. You know, I put my faith in myself, my deeds, my mom, who I love and miss very much. But I was one of those people that thought that if you were a good person and you weren't mean and you weren't selfish, you know, and you were just doing things, you know, the right way, that would be enough to get you into heaven. You know, I knew nothing of Jesus Christ. I knew nothing of salvation. You know, I just figured, you know, I'm good. I'm being a good girl. You know, me and God are straight. And so far from the truth. About the same time I started using, I found out that my favorite person on the face of the earth was dying of cancer. It's about, gosh, it's been a while now, 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. And that was my mom. She got diagnosed with lung cancer. At the time, they told us that she was going to be alive in 6 months, maybe 13 or 14% chance or something like that. And, you know, I smoke all the pot I wanted to, but I was still a blubbering idiot. And it didn't do anything for the tears or for the sadness that I felt. And I didn't know anything of God. And I had to find some way to alleviate that pain. And somebody gave me some dope. And I tell you, I wasn't crying no more. I said I was not crying anymore. I was skipping down the hallway like everything was all fine and dandy. And it was the single most selfish thing that you could ever do, is to get wrapped up into that stuff. You know, I put my kids on the back burner, the two beautiful kids that I had, my 13-year-old Kayla and my little girl, Amy Grace. I didn't care about them. You know, I left Amy with my parents. Kayla's kind of always been with my parents. I was able to ignore the fact that my mom was dying, and her and I were always so close. We were always so close. The thought of not having her just completely toppled my world. And, you know, thinking about it now, if I were to lose absolutely everything that I have, if I were to lose my children, my home, the relationship that God has allowed me to renew with my Father, where would I be? You know, would I be sitting in the Chevron bathroom with a needle in my arm because I have no other alternative or I know no other hope? And I had to put my faith in the only person that would never fail me, and that person is Jesus Christ. He's took away my shame. He's took away my guilt. He has took away that horrible addiction. You know, I love the meetings. I think that the 12 steps are all an awesome thing and all, but I couldn't imagine having to try to stay clean with my whole heart every day. Just for today, I'm going to stay clean. No, every day just for today, I'm going to go get high. I had to get something that was going to take that monkey off my back, and the only thing that can take that monkey off anybody's back is the Lord. You know, if you're having success in a program, that's absolutely fabulous. But it's fleeting. You know, it won't last. Let the storm come, and you'll be on your butt. So today, I am thankful for the fact that I am recovered, not that I am in recovery. I am thankful for my dad. He is such an awesome man, and seeing what God does in people's lives is such a huge way to build your faith. You know, that's why I love coming to Tuesday nights, seeing all of these people who have overcome these horrible addictions, people like my dad, people like Dave, people like these two over here. It's remarkable to me, and it is proof to see when a person was night and day different than what they are now, that God can restore them and rebuild them and renew them and make them just full of love and light and just hope, and everything is just wonderful now. You know, I'm grateful for little things like the fact that I get to take a whole bunch of toys out of my bathtub before I'm able to get in it. You know, and I have all my kids. I have a little one now, Isabella. She's just the sweetest little thing in the world. You know, God's given me a third shot at being a mom, and I couldn't be more grateful for that, you know. Let's see. The day my mom died, you know, I'm a pretty hard-headed person, you know, and I was out of my mind high for years, you know, and my mom was sick, and, you know, she didn't die in 6 months like they said she was going to. You know, she beat the cancer, and, you know, she was in remission for a long time before, you know, her lung just gave out on her. But as long as she was alive, I was pretty sure that I was going to stay high, because I had built up this horrific amount of shame and guilt for the way I had acted and things that I had done. You know, I couldn't go look her in the eye, you know, or my dad in the eye. And I was in a hotel room around the corner from the house, you know, getting high, and up all night. And I get a phone call in the morning, January 16th, 2009. Is my daughter, she was 13 now, almost 14, and she left me a voicemail because I didn't answer the phone. But she told me that my mom had died. And it was just horrific blow. I mean, I knew it was coming, but it was surreal. And I had the cry of, you know, the hopeless people that don't know anything of the Lord or don't know anything of heaven. You know, when you think that when you lose someone forever, it's just this unbearable pain. And, you know, I went to the house, you know, and for some reason it didn't occur to me that her body was still at the house. You know, my dad said that I needed to go in there and say goodbye to my mom. You know, and I saw her not in her body anymore. You know, I knew right then that there was a God, as twisted as that sound, but I knew that she had to have gone somewhere. And, you know, I rubbed her on her arm, and you know, I gave her a little bit of love, you know, but she wasn't in there anymore. And, you know, that day was my divine appointment. That was the day that, you know, all of the things that I had done over the last few years had caught up to me on that day. You know, I was going to go to get some drugs, and I walked into Home Depot over on College, and loss prevention came up to me, and they said, "Excuse me, we'd like to speak to you, please." And they had me in custody, and there's a detective about a stolen car or something like that. And, you know, I went to jail in the afternoon of the day my mom died. And that same day is my clean date. I haven't picked up or used since. And it's just absolutely remarkable. There's nothing other than the love and the power of God that can give me the peace that I have in me today. You know, the guarantee that I have a future and a hope, and that I'm going to be with my mom and my dad and my friends for the rest of eternity, chilling in heaven, learning and loving, and it's going to be absolutely fabulous. I just can't wait to get there and see the Lord. You know, I was up for every night when I'm saying my prayers in the evening, thinking about what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. You know, I was talking to Nick about it. It's funny that Manny said the same thing. I couldn't sleep, man. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to write? I wrote 7 pages of notes, and I kept tearing them up and throwing them away. So this is horrific. I said, no, I just got to go, you know. And then Nick calls me before we get here. He's like, I'm not coming. Nervous. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. You know, I've done this a few times on an individual basis, but I've never done it, you know, in front of people before. Testimonies are such a powerful thing. 2 Corinthians 5:17, that's an awesome one. You know, I love it. It was one of the first ones that I took to heart. It was, it's what I have on my Facebook page. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And that is just so true. It is just so true. Oh, I wish this peace, and it's like when you know a secret, when you know something that other people don't know, when you see people suffering and you see them miserable and you see them dying and down and depressed. And you want to grab them by the shoulders and shove God down their throat. And I know that's why my dad tried to do that with me for years. But I read something in my devotional the other day that says, how did it go? One saint should never interfere with the work that God is doing in another saint's life. Because it takes you being broken. It takes you being at the end of yourself when you have absolutely no other place to look except for to look up. Before you rid yourself of, yourself and just let God in and just completely surrender and let him handle it. Because I can't do it, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And, that's one thing that I have to praise my dad for, man, because I was out of my mind. And, having my kids now and being sober and knowing the only true love that exists is the love of God. And I couldn't imagine having to look at my children and let them be completely out of their mind and be able to take a step back and not do anything about it except for pray, which is the best thing you can do. But I couldn't imagine seeing my girls out of their mind like I was out of my mind and having the faith and the trust in the Lord that he was going to make it better. I don't know what I would do. It's something my mom wasn't as good at as he was. My mom liked to, be the enabler, and my dad stepped back and he kept me in prayer always. And a lot of people at this church did. When I started coming to this church again, when I came back to North County, I can't tell you how many dozens of people would hug me and tell me, Lisa, you were in our prayers for so long, and they all knew me. And it was just the most remarkable feeling. It was the most remarkable feeling. So those are the things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the love of God. I'm grateful for his forgiveness, for his grace, for his faithfulness, and for the thousands of promises that he gives me in this book, every one of which he will stay true to. And that's all. Thank you guys very much. I'm done.